I never thought I'd let my debt pile up like this. Like, I literally had the systems, I had the plan, I had all of the organizational tools, I even had the discipline. In 2023, we saved $45,000 in a year. In 2024, another $15,000. But this year, it's just different. I paused my debt payoff journey to focus on saving and investing. And now I'm watching the interest just pile up on the debt that I put to the side and said that I'll get back to later. And now it's starting to catch up with me. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Mrs. Newlywed Money, and I'm here on this channel being transparent with you on how my husband and I work to organize our money and work to achieve our financial goals. I'm also the owner of Boss Woman Budgets, where I help ambitious women align their money with their dreams. If that is something that you're interested in, please continue to keep watching and subscribe to this channel. And yes, girl, I know I'm about to make another pivot. Another pivot in my budget, another pivot with my money. I've never publicly came out and shared my debt confession, and I'm going to do that with you guys today. I'm going to tell you exactly what my debt looks like. And let me just start here. For me and my husband, the cash budgeting system has definitely been the tool that has worked for us the best in paying off debt, period. And nothing else has made me pause and think, do I really need to spend my money on that? And honestly, it's not just a budgeting system. It's a mindset shift. It's a behavior shift too. When we started, we were all in. I mean, we were getting paid, pulling all of the money out of the account, only leaving a little bit of buffer and using that to pay off our bills. And then whatever we had left over, we were putting towards savings challenges. At the time, all of our savings challenges were going towards our emergency fund. We had a goal of putting away $30,000 in our emergency fund. So by the time the end of the year came around, we looked up and we had $30,000 saved and an additional $15,000 across sinking funds across other things that we were saving for. It was great. With the cash budgeting system, you really can't hide from your money when it's right there in your hand. There's something psychologically that it does. It's like you don't want to give up your money to pay for anything that you don't necessarily need. It forces you to think twice about every purchase, every non-essential expense while you're working to build and achieve a goal. It also helped us to stay on the same page. I was new in my marriage. We were trying to figure things out. We were very quickly trying to build a strong baseline, strong foundation new in our marriage. And so my advice to you is, if you're trying to get out of debt or you just feel less out of control, start with cash. Start with a cash budgeting system. It'll humble you and help you. But I gotta be honest, with the cash budgeting system has its cons as well. At times it felt very restrictive. At times it felt like after we dispersed all of our money into certain envelopes and certain categories, it felt like we didn't have any money. So it left us craving, wanting more, wanting to live more, wanting to have more. Another thing I realized is it was hard to track where our money went when looking at it from the total year. And with us wanting to build our wealth in totality, not just control our spending, it was very hard for us to look back and to allocate like how much we spent in a particular category, like guilt-free money or groceries or food for the total year, because we were spending in cash. And we really didn't have a defined system to be able to look back on to see exactly what all we spent for the total year. Yes, I know you can track your expenses, but essentially the cash budgeting system is literally you putting money into separate envelopes and categories, and you should be tracking. That wasn't always the case for us. It was very difficult for us to maintain tracking our expenses on a daily basis when we knew that we had a certain amount of money allocated in the envelope. We kind of just spent it, and that was it. I think what made the cash budgeting system so successful for us in 2023 was the act of actually pulling all of our money out from the bank. Once we got paid, we pulled all of our money out, including cash stuffing our bills. I think that was the key differentiator between 2023 when we saved $45,000 and 2024 when we only saved $15,000. Granted, there was a little differences in our income, but it wasn't that drastic of a difference. Once I started incorporating more digital transfers, it took a lot of accountability off of me. So when I would get paid, I would just transfer a set amount to my bill account and then pull the rest out in cash to cash stuff towards savings challenges. What that did for me was it kept me from showing up consistently on this channel. It kept me from consistently showing up to cash stuff because in my mind, my bills were paid. It didn't matter, right? But I let subscriptions kind of seep through. I went weeks without cash stuffing, meaning that I was just spending money that was just sitting, that was waiting to be allocated towards certain things. So it took away the discipline that I had. I needed to cash stuff my bills to ensure that all of my necessities were paid. I want to go back on this debt-free journey, but I want to reintroduce the discipline aspect of it as well, while also acknowledging that I'm using a digital budget tracker right now because I want to look at my total spend for the year. So let me walk you through what that looks like. All right, so let's walk through the real numbers. Right now, we're carrying 4 main debts, and this is what they look like inside of my debt dashboard on my ultimate budget sheet that I sell on bosswomanbudgets.com. First is our HELOC, and we have that sitting at $54,295. It's our largest balance and has made the biggest impact on our monthly payments. It's tied to our home, and I've been debating whether to unstuff some of our binders or even use investments to kind of just wipe it out. Next is the Equinox, which is our car loan. The balance sits at $5,400 with a 17% interest rate. It's a top priority for payoff for my husband. Then there's this tax personal loan, which we took on earlier this year. That balance is $4,887, and that interest rate is still high too at 16%. And finally, the most controversial, my student loans. They now sit at $28,854. These are more long-term for me because the interest rate is so low, but it's still a weight that I'm working to manage. Altogether, we're looking at over $93,000 in total debt. That number used to feel overwhelming, but having it all mapped out inside this dashboard helps me see the big picture and actually create a plan moving forward. And I'm also trying to avoid paying that $40,000 in interest that is at the top. I'm still deciding on how we're going to tackle it, whether that's unstuffing my savings or using brokerage funds, but I know I'm going to make a big decision soon because I'm done avoiding it. If you want to organize your money like this and finally see your full financial picture, I've linked the ultimate budget sheet down below, and you can start with where you are. That's what I'm doing, and we're going to be doing it together. Thanks, guys, for tuning into the video. I will chat with you soon.